What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P, back here once again, and you already know what time it is when you see me in front of your TV. It's one thing for certain, and three things are for sure. Number one, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we get him to give you stats, not none of that static. Number three, and perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. We want to make sure that you keep your Lions news pragmatic, and you may be asking yourself, how, Don? How does one keep the Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's a very, very simple process, and I'm glad you asked. It only takes 3 steps. The first step is smashing the like button. The second step is subscribing. The third step is sharing. And I say that it could happen in these 3 with these 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. But it doesn't matter what order you do it in, as long as you've done it. You've then kept your Lions news pragmatic, and as I said, sharing is caring. So once you've shared this stream with your uncles, your cousins, your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, your aunties, your numbers, you name it, then you have indeed cared about these people. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Will Murray here. We got Shift God here. Shift God. He says, man, the whole NFL Network panel picked us, even Adam Rank. Oh boy. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about these Detroit Lions versus these Cleveland Browns. Listen, now when we picked the schedule, as you know, I had the Ravens as a loss, and that didn't happen. And then the Browns game, I said the only way that the Browns could beat the Detroit Lions is if the Detroit Lions got caught in the trap. It's a trap, right? Because I believe right after this game, do we have the Bengals? Yeah, this is week 4 coming up. So I think, yeah, we're on the road to Arrowhead in week 6, right? So the Bengals was gonna look like possibly you could be overlooking the Browns, so you could look ahead to the Bengals. You got to stop Joe Burrow. You got to stop Jamar Chase. You got to stop T. Higgins. But you know that it's going to be a shootout because they don't have a defense. I mean, Trey Hendrickson is Trey Hendrickson, but they don't have anybody else. I mean, they got Shamar Stewart, right? And then Joe Burrow gets injured. And Joe Burrow's going to miss this game, and he's going to be out for 3 months. So then it doesn't look so daunting anymore. Like there's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing to look ahead of. And this team does a great job about looking past its opponents coming up, right? They do a great job focusing on the team that's ahead of them. So now the team that's in front of them is the Cleveland Browns, and they can go ahead and give their proper focus. They don't have to worry about the Bengals because the Bengals suck, right? But here's the one thing that I did not bank on. I did not bank on the Cleveland Browns having the number 1 defense in the NFL through 4 weeks. I didn't bank on that, right? We know they've got Myles Garrett, and we know who Myles Garrett is and what Myles Garrett is. And, hey, Myles Garrett is a freaking beast, okay? And that's why he's on the thumbnail, because we are locked in. We're locked in because if you stop Myles Garrett, if you can contain Myles Garrett, if you can keep Jared Goff clean and keep Myles Garrett out your backfield and keep him away from your quarterback, you have a great, great, great chance of winning, right? Shout out the Woodward Heavyweights, Easy, Spimo Racks. They did acknowledge that they clowned me. They clowned me on my Cleveland Browns take. I said it could be a trap game. I mean, it's just don't poo-poo it. Don't overlook it. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying I was afraid of the Browns. I wasn't afraid of nobody on the schedule except for the Baltimore Ravens. Okay? That's the only team that I was afraid of. Let me see. Okay. Right? Are y'all ready for this? Because I got it today. Yesterday I couldn't finish because I didn't want to misquote. when it came to Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens, at first I was afraid. I was petrified, thinking I could live without you by my side. And after spending nights thinking how you did me wrong, I grew strong. And I learned how to get along, and now you're back from my. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I was feeling about the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, because I thought they was gonna do me wrong on Monday Night Football, right? I was thinking I could live without you by my side, and that was the dub that I was talking to. Okay, because I was thinking that the dub was not going to be by my side. The dub was going to escape me, right? And after spending nights, Monday night, thinking how you did me wrong, right? My fear of the Baltimore Ravens did me wrong. It wasn't true. I grew strong. And I learned how to get along. Because we got the dub in your face. We beat the Ravens. We beat them all up in their place. And we locked up the door and we threw away the key. Because you know what? We got the W. Okay, anyway. All right. So now when we get to the Cleveland Browns. Shout out, as I said, shout out to Heavyweights. They had their guy who from PFF who is a Cleveland Browns fan somehow. That's got to be tough, bro. That's got to be tough. You know who else is a Cleveland Browns fan? And when I tell you this, you're gonna be like, damn. Steve Harvey is a Cleveland Browns fan. Yeah. Why? Let me tell you something. Why? Cleveland. Did y'all know? I knew he was from Cleveland, but he sounds like he's from Mississippi. Why is that? Why is that? Like, that's like me being from Detroit, and I'm like, I'm saying, I'm talking about, hey, player. No, I'm talking about, look here. Hey, I'm from the West Side, player. Don't you mess with me. I'm talking about, hey, I'm from the East Side. No, I'm talking about, hey, like I don't understand how he sounds like. Why? What? Let me tell you something. Why? Why does he sound like he's from Alabama? I don't know. He just sounds real Southern country, and he is from Cleveland. Oh, hell no. But you know what else I'm going to tell you about Steve Harvey? Steve Harvey is 68 years old. Did y'all realize that? Steve Harvey is 68 years old. He's a Cleveland Browns fan. That's gotta suck. I think he said he hasn't seen them win anything since 1964. That's wild. But anyway, they had their PFF guy who was a Cleveland Browns fan. And what he said to us was basically this. Defense crazy, offense cheeks. He said, defense crazy, offense cheeks. That's pretty much what it is. He said Joe Flacco looks like he's got not too much left in his feet. Because they were talking about, Jared Goff and Joe Flacco being, the last of a dying breed as far as pure pocket passers who can't move a whole lot. And Joe Flacco, he was like, Joe Flacco, he don't look like he can go anywhere. Too much. Mr. Detroit City says J-Mo 2028. I think it's J-Mo for president. Okay, cool. I would vote for him. He said people probably from Mississippi somewhere. I get that, but if you've been in Cleveland, that man is 68 years old. If you've been in Cleveland that entire time, you can't sound like that. I'm sorry, you can't. Why? Let me tell you something. Why? Why? Anyway, so offense cheeks, defense crazy. Now you guys know that we are going to be facing yet another one of our former coaches in Jim Schwartz. Now, understanding that Jim Schwartz is a phenomenal defensive mind is to ask yourself, what the hell happened when you were in Detroit? Did he just didn't have the pieces? Is that what it was? I don't know. But this is what your coach, Dan Campbell, had to say about the Browns defense. All right, so this is from Pro Football Talk, and y'all know I don't get too much into Pro Football Talk, but they've got the article, and you know it's Florio, and he's a Vikings fan, and he's a lawyer, and there's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't like Mike Florio, but he does have the information. Says the Lions offense turned in an impressive performance on Monday night in Baltimore, but Lions coach Dan Campbell says they'll need to be even better on Sunday. With the Browns coming to town after shutting down the Packers on Sunday, Campbell said on 97.1 The Ticket, Detroit's offense hasn't faced a defense as good as Cleveland's yet. Let me pop out this chat while I'm reading this, just in case y'all got anything to say. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. All right, let me go back to the article now. Okay, so he said, you see what they did to Green Bay, Campbell said. This defense is for real. This will probably be the best defense we've faced to date. Okay, so here's my question to you guys in the chat. This will be the best defense that we faced today because obviously it's the number one defense in the league. Whose defense scares you as you look down the track on the schedule? Are there any other defenses that scare you? Because we played the Baltimore Ravens and we were like, oh, they had 38 pressures in 2 games. Well, Hutch had 30 pressures apparently on Lamar Jackson. All in one game. That's crazy. But they were also missing Nnamdi Madubuike and Kyle Van Noy. So now with the Cleveland Browns coming to town and they have the number one defense in the NFL, once we hopefully vanquish them, because obviously I told y'all yesterday, you will not see me picking a game again in which I feel that the Detroit Lions cannot win. Okay? So I'm picking the Lions, spoiler alert, for the rest of the year, unless there's a significant injury or something. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but that is the case. So are there any defenses that y'all can think of down the track that you think would give you problems? Or if we go ahead and put numbers on the Browns defense, do we just look unstoppable for the rest of the season? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. All right. Campbell said the Lions won't spend any time celebrating their big win against the Ravens. As hard as some of these short weeks can be, it actually helps because you can't look back. You have no choice. You don't have time to look back. You have to get on to the next opponent because we lose a day, Campbell said. The Lions are, also the UNC is being sued for hiring Bill Belichick. I didn't get into it. I don't know why. This is crazy. The Lions are 8.5-point favorites, but Campbell says his players are well aware of the challenge they face on Sunday. What matters is what's right in front of you, Campbell said. These guys know what Cleveland is capable of. All right, so that's pretty much the article. There's nothing else. Here's my take on the situation. Okay. Sunday Night Football. TaylorMade says, coach is telling his locker room, don't sleep on the Browns through the media. It's a game at a time. Facts. But here's my take on the situation. You go back to Sunday Night Football. You go back to the Chiefs and the Giants. As I told you, The game was like 9-6 at halftime. Nobody was scoring anything except for field goals. It was a defensive struggle. But finally, in the second half, I think around the fourth quarter, no, I think it was in the third quarter, Kansas City came out and scored, and then it became 16-6. Right? And then it was 22-6. And then finally it was 22-9. Or was it 20? It was 16-6 and then 16-9 maybe. And then anyway, I don't remember the final sequence of the last 3 points where the Giants acquired those last 3 points or how. Obviously, they kicked the field goal. However, the reason I believe that Kansas City beat the Giants was because of their offense. Neither one of the offenses was good. Neither one of the offenses was clicking on all cylinders. Neither one of the offenses did anything spectacular. But if you're going to ask me, are you taking Patrick Mahomes over Russell Wilson? I will tell you, yes, 800 times a day and 1,000 times a day on Sunday. There's not even a question with that situation. So what happens is the defense is going to wear down eventually. When your offense can't score and the defense is always out on the field, they're going to wear down eventually. That's what happened to the Giants defense, and that's why they lost that game, because their offense gave them no support. Okay? In a situation where you're talking about, for the Cleveland Browns, offense cheeks, defense beast. Offense cheeks, defense beast. Offense cheeks, defense beast. Okay? Again, the defense can't be beast for the entire game when offense is cheeks. Okay? So because offense is cheeks, if we can get the same type of pass rush, and I know there are different types of quarterbacks, there are different types of players, there's going to be different protection, there's going to be a different game plan. Obviously, a lot of the sacks that we got on Lamar Jackson is not because Caleb Williams holds the ball. It's because Lamar Jackson is magical with the ball in his hands and he can do pretty much whatever he wants, just not on Monday night against the Detroit Lions. Joe Flacco can't do that. So Joe Flacco is going to have to get the ball out of his hands quickly. That's going to be a point of emphasis when they're, as they are prepared for the Detroit Lions. They're going to be like, you see, these dudes sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times. Okay, we may have beat the Ravens. Well, we haven't. We didn't beat the Ravens. Sorry. They beat the Packers. They lost 41-17 to the Ravens. If that's any indication of what we could do to them. But it was a similar situation. They were kind of in it for the first half. And then in the second half, the floodgates open. Again, because offense cheeks, defense beast. When your offense is cheeks, you can't support your defense. Your defense is going to wear down. That's just what's going to happen. So I believe that is how you win the game. No matter if the Cleveland Browns have the number 1 defense in the league right now, that doesn't really matter because our defense is pretty damn good and we can turn it into a defensive struggle. And their offense doesn't have the ability to do anything about it. Our offense, we're trending back towards number 1 in the league. So that's what I'm going to think about that situation. Now, what up, though, Zach J? I just want to give a quick shout out to Quinshon Judkins, which is not a name of a real human being. I've said this all along. Do y'all remember Philip Lindsay? Let me know in the chat if anybody remembers Philip Lindsay. He was the running back for the Denver Broncos. Let me know if y'all remember him, because it's important. It's important that you remember. I don't think he was white. He was mixed. He was mixed. Anyway, you remember. You remember how Philip Lindsay used to get up after every play, no matter if he lost 2 yards, no matter if he gained 20, and just start barking immediately at the whoever was near him, whoever was a defender. Like the defender could have the defender could have been like, "Oh, it was a good run." He'd be like, "F you, dog. Don't compliment me. You know who I am. I'm Philip Lindsay." Nah, he just had this unnecessary chip on his shoulder. Okay. Well, if you can't recall, it's all good because I'm describing him to you. So no matter what he did, he could have lost 2 yards. He's gonna get up. He's gonna spaz out. Quinshon Judkins had that same energy when I was watching their game against the Packers. So much so that I believe Kevin Stefanski pulled him to the side because at some point early, like in the second quarter, he just stopped doing it. I think I think Kevin Stefanski put him to the side and said, "Bruh, if you don't shut the hell up and stop doing all that craziness, we're going to put your ass on the bench." Quinshon Judkins is the type of running back that I absolutely hate. I hated Philip Lindsay. I hated Philip Lindsay because of that. Bruh, it is not necessary. Whatever you have to do to get yourself going, you got to do to get yourself going, but don't be out there looking crazy. Don't be out there looking crazy. You did nothing. You lost 2 yards. Be quiet. Sit down. Be humble. Hold up. Little running back. Sit down. Be humble. You know what I'm saying? Just go back to the huddle, bro. Like, wasn't nobody talking to you? Wasn't nobody beefing with you? Nobody said anything to you. You was on 10 all the time. It's like Isaiah Pacheco sometimes. Sometimes he's like that. And it's like, why are you like that, bro? You look crazy. Player, you done fumbled your own fade. Now you look crazy. Hashtag if you know, use the hashtag. So here's the thing that I need for the Detroit Lions to do. The Detroit Lions are holding all of these running backs to 60 yards or less. No one's broken 60 yards. Y'all better not let Quinshon Judkins get off for nothing. I want Quinshon Judkins to have -5 yards by the time he's benched and pulled out of the game. I don't want to see him getting up, jumping in anybody's face. I don't want to see none of that because it's not necessary, bro. You are a rookie. You're playing in your third game, right? You missed the first game with some assault allegations, bruh. Just keep your head down and do your job. That's all we need from you. So I don't want the Detroit Lions to give that man any opportunity to get out with his fake ass name and start barking at people. Make him look foolish. If he's barking like, dog, you just lost a -1 yard. What are you doing? You got tackled in the backfield behind the line of scrimmage. What are you doing? All right. You have 15 carries for -5 yards. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, that's what I need from the Detroit Lions. Didn't he have a similar story as Craig Reynolds, aka Netflix? I mean, somewhat. I mean, he was like overlooked and stuff like that. I don't know if he was on the couch. But yeah. So I need Quinshon Judkins to be shut down, bro. You know, I don't want to see none of that. The Titans are having a fire sale. Brian Callahan says Jarvis Brownlee trade not a sign of a Titans fire sale. They're having one because they suck. All right. Micah Parsons says the Cowboys might have hard feelings, but I don't. Why would you have hard feelings? You asked out and then you got $47 million a year to be out. No feelings hard. Pause. The Titans are trading Jarvis Brownlee. They traded him already. I don't know who else they could trade. That's a fair question. That is a fair question. All right. So let's get some numbers for the Cleveland Browns defense. Because I just want y'all to know what y'all are up, what we're up against. Okay, so we're gonna go to the trusty Fox Sports ratings. 2025 NFL defensive rankings, team pass and rush stats. Now we're gonna go. We're gonna talk about their defense and our defense, just so we can see how we stack up. All right. Are we trading away Craig Reynolds? I don't think so. I just think he was inactive against the Ravens. He's been active the first 2 weeks. I mean, you need a third back, and Sione Vaki is proving to you that he can't be the third back because he can't be healthy. You know? So, all right, here we go. The defensive ratings or rankings through week 3. Total defense, Cleveland Browns are number 1. They're allowing 204.3 yards and 8 touchdowns. Okay. Now, 8 touchdowns is actually towards the top. The only team that you guys want to guess who is the only team that has allowed, or who is the team that has allowed the most touchdowns? It might surprise you. The number is 12. Who do you guys think that is? I'll let y'all get y'all guesses in before I actually tell you. All right. So total defense, the Browns are number 1. The Lions are 13. Okay. So the Browns are allowing 204.3 yards per game. The Detroit Lions are allowing 307.7 yards per game. So a whole 103 yards more. The Lions have also allowed 10 touchdowns to the Cleveland Browns, 8. Okay. So the answer was the Baltimore Ravens. They are 32. Okay. In team defense, the Ravens are number 32, dead last, which when is the last time we said that about the Baltimore Ravens and their defense? They allow 415 yards per game, 12 touchdowns. Now, obviously, the Detroit Lions just put up 400 on them. So, I mean, but that's consistent. They were allowed 400 per before we played them anyway. Okay. Well, I haven't on all the Detroit Lions news that I consume, I haven't seen anything that says that we'd trade him. And then the question is, why would Harbaugh target Craig Reynolds specifically? Right? That would be the question that I have. Let's have my chicken noodle soup. You know what I'm saying? Soup for the soul. Okay. All right. Passing defense. Okay. Now, here's where there's hope. If you can keep Jared Goff clean in the pocket, if you can give him a little bit of time to pass, the Browns only ranked 4th in total passing defense. They're giving up a whopping 147 yards per game, and they've allowed 6 passing touchdowns. So remember, remember, they've allowed 8 touchdowns total on defense. 6 of them have been passing. So that means only 2 times have they allowed a touchdown on the ground. Okay. Y'all want to know what the Lions are? The Browns are number 4. The Lions are number 15. So the Lions are a bit consistent, right? They're 13th overall. They're 15th against the pass. And you know they're going to be higher against the rush. So 208.7 yards per game. And they've given up 7 touchdowns. So remember I said that per game, they're giving up 307 yards, 307.7 yards. 208.7 of that is through the air. Okay, so that means they're giving up basically 99 yards per game on the ground. All right, now the next one is rushing defense. Where do y'all think the Browns rank? Rushing defense. Now, here's the crazy part. The total touchdowns don't add up. The total touchdowns don't add up. So it said total touchdowns was 8. This is for the defense, right? Passing touchdowns was 6. Rushing touchdowns is 1. Where's the other touchdown at? Where's the other touchdown at for the defense? Okay. Now, the Browns are number 1 against the rush. Okay, as I said, they're number 1 in total defense. They're number 1 against the rush. They're allowing a paltry 57.3 yards per game on the ground. They've only allowed 1 touchdown. Crazy enough, the Lions find themselves just outside the top 10 at number 11, averaging, as I said before, because of quick math, 99 yards per game, and they've given up 3 rushing touchdowns. Okay, so they've given up 7 through the air, and they've given up 3 on the ground, and that completes the 10, right? So what I'm trying to understand where the Browns' extra touchdown is. Okay, 6 if by air, 2 if by land. It's supposed to be, because they've given up a total of 8. But it says 6 if by air, 1 if by land. Where's the other one? TaylorMade Media says, was just talking about Jim Harbaugh last night. He'll do anything to get an edge on the competition. I don't think Craig Reynolds is that anything. Yep, they are number 1. So it's going to be tough sledding. 57.3 yards per game. We'll see if David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs can do anything about it. I would say with Jahmyr, you just try to go ahead and get on the outside edge. The opposite of where Myles Garrett is. Obviously, you run away from him. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of game plan they have for Myles Garrett, because Myles Garrett can easily defeat a double team. We've seen him defeat triple teams. I don't know what you do to block that guy. You keep all those people in, and then you put let's see. You gotta do something. I'm trying to figure out, like, you gotta run away from him. I'm not a big fan of triple teaming him, because if you triple team him, then it's just gonna be 1-on-1s across the board, which may not be good. So I don't know. It's gonna be a tough thing to stop Myles Garrett. You want to stop Myles Garrett and let everybody else make the tackles, that's fine. But that's gonna be hard to do. So I'm not sure what they're gonna have to do as far as the defensive line. What? Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know. So if y'all have any suggestions, let your boy know. Pimp down, pimp in distress. 11:30. All right. I had something. that I was gonna say, but it just kind of vanished. See if I can remember it. No, don't remember it. All right. The Packers didn't let him stay on Jordan Love all day. Jordan Love was sacked 5 times, and he threw a dumbass interception. Oh, that was the Jordan Love we knew and loved. Now, speaking of the Packers, I was told that the Packers were going to go undefeated. Was I lied to? Those same 17-0 Packers have been getting disrespected. Did y'all see Stephen A. Smith do his list of top 5 teams in the NFL right now? You know who was on that list? The Detroit Lions. You know who wasn't on that list? The Green Bay Packers. The power rankings. I think it was CBS or somebody did the power rankings. I saw a snippet of the power rankings yesterday. You know who was in the top 5 in the teams? It was the Lions. The Lions were number 3 in the power rankings, just like they were in Stephen A. Smith's list. Right? So the Green Bay Packers were not on this list. They were not in the top 5 in the power rankings. I think they were number 6 to 8, whichever one of them it is. I was told that when the Green Bay Packers got Micah Parsons, that they had essentially become unstoppable. And whatever, whatever else they got. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure what happened with the Packers. I thought they were good. I thought they were great. I thought they were fantastic. I thought they were unbeatable. I thought they were unstoppable. I thought they were going to go undefeated. Was I lied to? Yeah, I was told these things. Was I lied to? I don't like being lied to. All right. Said the Packers didn't even believe that. They believe in their own hype, but it's too untrue. So I'm just saying, I don't understand where they went though, because they were after weeks 1 and 2, they were the clear odds-on favorite for winning a Super Bowl. Now they can't even crack the top 5 of a power ranking. That's wild that they can't even crack the top 5. Anyway. Ron, don't be surprised if y'all lose to the Browns too. Are y'all playing the Browns this season? Because don't be surprised. All right. Scoring defense. Who do you think is the number 1 scoring defense? Do y'all know? Because if you can put up points, you got this defense pretty much in the bag. Nope, the Vikings are not the number 1 scoring defense. Surprise, surprise, it is within the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers. They allow 14.7 points per game, and they have only allowed four total touchdowns. Okay, so it was 1 against us, I guess 2 against the Commanders, and 1 against the Browns. And the Browns are way down on the list scoring defense. They are 18th. But crazy, they're still better than the Lions defensively in scoring. So the Browns are 18th. They're allowing 22.7 points per game, and they've given up 8 touchdowns. The Detroit Lions are 23rd, giving up 26 points per game, and they've allowed 10 touchdowns. Okay. The Falcons are 13th, and they are allowing 19.7. The Rams are 14th, and they're allowing 20.3. I ask, or I say that, I give you guys that stat because that's where you want your lines to be. You want your lines to be between 13 and 14. Okay. And then that's going to get you a Super Bowl or a chance to go to one. Okay. You'll get a chance to go to one. Them MFers dropped like 50 points against me in fantasy football. Strange how you and all the YouTube creators and NFL analysts all picked Detroit to lose. What do you mean, against the Ravens? I did. And you know why? Do you know why, Lion King? Because at first I was afraid. I was petrified. Thinking I could live without that dub by my side. And after I spent the nights thinking how you did me wrong, I grew strong. And I learned how to get along. We got that dub all in the place. We came in there and we ate W's in the face. I'm not afraid to tell you that I said that they were going to lose. I picked them to lose when the schedule came out. Okay, so it's okay. You don't ever have to tell me, oh, like you did this or you said that, because I own it. If I was wrong about it, I was wrong about it. If I was right about it, I was right about it. For me, it's not the end of the world. I'm a human. I'm not one of these people that thinks that to admit a mistake or to admit being wrong is a sign of weakness or whatever the case may be. No, it's a sign of being a human. No one can be perfect, right? I'm notoriously bad at pick'ems, but I'm notoriously good at picking the Lions. So it is what it is. Well, I mean, Taylor May, he came in after I had already done my rendition, so she called it I Will Survive. I called it I Will Eat a Dub. You know what I mean? That's it. We have historically struggled against running QBs. Shep proved himself. Well, the crazy thing is that the first 3 games of the season, all of the quarterbacks were mobile. We had Jordan Love, we had Caleb Williams, and we had Lamar Jackson, and we're looking at 17. We're looking at what? How many more games are we looking at? We're looking at the Bears again, the Packers again. We're looking at the Chiefs. We're looking at who else? Who else would be considered mobile like that? Now everyone can scamper a little bit. Just about everyone. So who else do we have? Of course, we have the Packers again and the Bears again. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Anybody else that I'm missing? Mahomes, Hurts, Those are the two outside of the division. Within the division, again, we have Williams, we have Caleb Love, and we might even have Ariel. What's his name? We might even have JJ McCarthy. We might. Who knows if he's healed up from his, leg contusion or anything of that nature. If he's healed up from that, then it is what it is. Why am I skipping your comments? Because they're dumb. Remember, this isn't a Bears podcast. When you start saying things that disparage the Lions, just put your money where your mouth is. Just put your money where your mouth is. That's the downside, Ron, of coming to a Lions podcast and thinking that you're going to be able to get your insults off. What up, though, Paul Thomas? All right. Is there any more defensive rankings we haven't seen? Red zone defense. Okay. Who's number one in red zone defense? Who do y'all think it is? Well, I mean, he says, I'm just stunned that Bears fan thinks they are in a position to troll. It's a Bears fan. You have to kind of call their judgment into question, first and foremost. The Saints, LMAO, no, not the Saints at all. Number one at 25% scoring rate is the Chargers. The Browns are somewhere on this list. Come on. All right, the Lions are number 20 on this list. Wow, 63.6. Last year we were like 7% in the red zone. You had a 7% chance to score on us. And the Browns are 25th at 66.7. So listen, if we can get the ball into the red zone consistently, we can win this game going away. We can win the game going away. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. The Browns are 25th. Hold on. I thought the Lions were 25th. Hold on. Okay, maybe I skipped ahead. So the Lions are 20th, not 25th. The Lions are 20th at 63.6. The Browns are 25th at 66.7. Okay? Now, if you can get into the red zone, you can score. That's my point. All right, third down defense. We used to be number one last year. Okay. Okay, let's see. The Browns are 26th. Okay, at 45.5%. So they'll get you the third down, but you can almost convert at a 50-50 rate. Almost. Obviously not 100% true, but all right, let's see where the Lions are here. Oh, whoo. In third down defense. Y'all want to guess where the Lions rank? Anyway, the Lions are 30th. The Commanders are number 1. Against the Commanders, you are converting 28.6% of your third downs. The Lions are 50%. Okay, so they're 30th and 50%. So if you didn't convert your third down on this drive, you're gonna convert it on the next drive. So that's not great. All right. '30th, not 32nd, 30th. We're not at the bottom of the barrel yet. But just to give you some perspective, we're at 50%. 30th or 32nd, the bottom of the barrel is 53.7. So we are simply percentage points away from being at the bottom. How'd you get that one? You said 32nd. It's 30th. Kevin Hart. Damn. Am I the only Lions fan in Australia? No, I've actually met a few more. So, yeah. All right. So that's what it is for the third down defense. So our defense isn't great, but we're going up against their defense, which overall is great, but we do have some distinct advantages from our offensive side. Again, if you get us to third down, as long as Jay-Z can see the play, then that. All right. So if you can get into third down, you can convert. If you can get into the red zone, you can convert. They're not good against people scoring. So if you can draw up a few scoring plays, you're good. As I said, the rushing game is going to be very, very tough. It's going to be very, very difficult. They're number 1 in the league, and they're only letting up 57 yards per game, which is crazy. Okay, it's crazy that you've let in 57 passengers per game. All right, and then passing defense. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because they're ranked number 4. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough sledding, man. It's not as easy, and that's why I titled the thing as you said. If you look at the numbers, if you look based on the numbers, and you know me, I'm not just only numbers guy. So I did watch that game with the Packers versus the yeah. So there's something here that I'm trying to grab, but I can't grab it. Anyway, I don't think it was important for the game. Let me see what y'all got going on here. Because your boy's about to do. We're favored by, I think it's 8.5, unless it moved from before this show started. Zach J, how did you end up in Australia? Paul Thomas. That's the correct answer. I was gonna say poor life choices. Is how I wound up in Australia. But it is what it is. Mr. Detroit City says J-Mo 3 tutties this week against Cleveland. Hey, I would love to see that. I would love to. His contract is his contract, man. You're just gonna have to accept the fact that he's here. You're just gonna have to accept the fact that he's here. 5 more years. 5 more years. 5 more years. All right, so let's go with mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag. Snick, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right, let's go ahead and get those mailbag questions in. Mailbag, you had the Ravens game as a loss prior to Monday night. Some folks compare themselves to national pundits and declare themselves ranked second nationally in win-loss. Your thoughts? Wait, what? Wait, there are people out there who are so thirsty for recognition that they are running around keeping track of how they've done against the national pundits. Are you kidding me? Wow, bro. Wow. That is thirst. That is thirst for acknowledgement. I swear. My goodness. I'd hate to be that small of a person. That's crazy. A sugar cookie, man. This is crazy. Oh my goodness, bro. My goodness. That is crazy. Mailbag, can you hear Davenport crying all the way in Australia? I mean, I hear something. If I listen closely enough, I probably can. Mailbag, Chef, do you think Johnny Morton now is up learning curve? Or do you think he sped up his learning curve? Is that what you're saying? Whatever Johnny Morton has done, he just needs to keep doing it. He needs to keep doing it. I guess there's some credence to saying, okay, well, week 1 was our preseason game, but I just don't like the fact that it came against the Green Bay Packers. I mean, you had months to prepare for the Green Bay Packers, and I don't care what the operation was and it wasn't smooth or whatever the case may be. You could just stand there, right? You could just stand there and let it happen, or you could have prepared, and I think they just stood there and let it happen. So, I don't know. Mailbag, I saw Shiloh Sanders cutting grass over in St. Pete this week. Mailbag, what's the latest timetable on some of these players on IR? Aleem Rodrigo. I believe Rodrigo was supposed to be like October possibly. And Aleem, the last thing we heard was himself saying he was about 93%. So I don't think anything's going to change for him. I think it's going to be by Thanksgiving. Josh Pascal, bro, who knows? Once you are in training camp and then you just go out with a mysterious illness, a mystery illness. Once you go out with that, bro, I don't know. Ain't nobody checking for you. Ain't nobody checking for you, Pascal. You know, not at all. Um, Mailbag. I saw Shador Sanders doing pest control. Does that mean Browns don't have future plans for him? uh, I don't know what their future plans are. I don't know what their current plans are. I don't even know why they drafted him, to be quite honest with you. Telemate Media says, Mailbag, what offensive weapons do Flacco, Gabriel Shador have on the Browns? Jerry Jeudy. That's about it. Jerry Jeudy, we could say David Njoku. Not ready to crown Chris Johnson. Put it over there. Or what's his name? Chris Brown? That's his name, Chris Brown. All right. Mailbag. Lions versus Browns on Sunday at 1 p.m. Jordan Love and his Packers in the 425 window. Which club finishes at 3-1 at the end of the day? I mean, I think both clubs finish at 3-1 at the end of the day. I mean, neither one of the teams is playing a great opponent. Man. Shout out Paul Thomas with the $10 super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. He says, keep doing your thing, Don. You a good guy, mate. I appreciate you, man. 100%. Anytime I get a super chat, it's always a good time. Yeah, I don't think either one of us are playing a team that is good. The Packers probably have an easier road because they're playing the Cowboys, unless the Cowboys are fueled by revenge and driven by pettiness, and they want to get back at Micah Parsons. I don't know, but I guess it's a more personal element. But the Browns are, while they're good on defense, their offense is bad. So, I don't think that their offense is going to be the one that steps up against the Detroit Lions. I think it will be the Detroit Lions offense stepping up against the Cleveland Browns. So, Brad Holmes just itching to re-sign Pascal. So Pascal is still signed to us. He's just injured. But you mean like because this is his last year and he just probably, bro. I don't know. I don't understand it. And I really wouldn't be surprised to see. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised to see Marcus Davenport back here next year. Oh, his season got cut short, and that's not what's been happening to him the entire time he's been in the NFL. So maybe we just need to give him more time. No, that's not how it works. All right, let's see. Chris Brown's a loser and sounds like a girl. Mailbag, thought I saw the Sanders family eating out last weekend. Turns out Shiloh and Shador were just doing their jobs, bussing tables and washing dishes while Dion ate steak and sipped wine. To be fair, Shador Sanders still has a job in the NFL. Shiloh doesn't. I don't know who thought Shiloh was going to have a job, but I don't. Yeah. All right. So I've got a test coming up. I don't know. I caught some sort of stomach bug last night, so I was up until 3 a.m. Then I had to get up at 6 and start working. So I'm pretty slammed, pretty beat right now. And like I said, I got a test coming up at 3 p.m. that I got to take. So I need to get a nap and get up and get some studying done. So I'm going to go ahead and stab out. I'll answer this last one. When Brad Holmes sees a player who's always injured, he turns into the meme, Dollar General meme of the guy rubbing his hands together. All right, y'all. Once again, I appreciate y'all for coming through, hanging out. Once again, the Motor City Cats are back at it. We came to give you stats and none of that static, whatever you do. Make sure you keep your lines news pragmatic, and we are out. Peace.